This summer, I went ahead and dug a couple of different holes around the property, even though my wrist was broken in an accident, which made the work slower and more painful than expected. That small personal struggle mirrors the larger theme of endurance that defines Life Below Zero, a series that takes viewers deep into the frozen heart of Alaska. In this vast and unforgiving region, people live far from cities, neighbors, and modern comforts, choosing isolation over convenience. Every single day brings a new challenge that cannot be ignored or postponed. Hunting for food, cutting through thick ice to reach water, and battling violent storms that can last for days are not occasional hardships, but regular parts of life. The show follows men and women who willingly trade comfort for freedom, revealing what it truly means to depend entirely on the land and to face nature strictly on its own terms. Among these individuals is Chip Hailstone, whose dedication to this lifestyle and natural charisma have played a major role in helping the show grow in popularity. However, heartbreaking news connected to him has revealed a truth that many viewers long suspected. What could that truth be? The answer unfolds gradually, encouraging viewers to keep watching as the reality slowly unveils itself. Life Below Zero is a documentary-style reality television series that focuses on the real lives of people surviving in the farthest reaches of Alaska. It follows men and women who live off the grid, relying on hunting, fishing, and their own learned skills to survive in freezing and often lonely conditions. The show presents life in a land where temperatures can fall to 60 degrees below zero, where even one small mistake can cost a human life. Rather than manufactured drama or artificial competition, the series emphasizes real endurance, strong family unity, and the deep bond between humans and the natural world. The original idea behind the series was simple but powerful, to tell true survival stories shaped by Alaska's harsh and demanding landscape. Produced by British Broadcasting Corporation Studios, this show first aired on May 19, 2013, on the National Geographic Channel. From the beginning, it stood apart from other reality programs because of its quiet storytelling style and its respect for the people and cultures it portrayed. Executive producer Joseph Litzinger joined the project early and helped shape its direction for more than 10 years. In a 2025 interview, he reflected on how much filming technology had changed, saying, "When we started, GoPros were just becoming a thing. Drones did not exist. The central goal remained unchanged, to show the lives of strong Alaskans with honesty, care, and dignity." Over time, Life Below Zero became one of National Geographic's most-watched programs. Beginning in 2016, it won multiple Emmy Awards for cinematography, editing, and sound mixing. By 2020, the series had earned several renewals and inspired spin-offs, including Life Below Zero, Next Generation, which followed a younger group of people choosing to live away from modern society. The original series ran for 23 seasons and a total of 325 episodes before officially ending on February 23, 2025. Throughout its long run, the show adapted to real-world changes, including climate shifts and the COVID-19 pandemic, which forced the production team to use new filming methods. Despite these challenges, the production remained loyal to realism. In the early seasons, only simple cameras were used. As technology advanced, drones and improved lenses were introduced to capture the vast beauty of the wilderness without disrupting its natural flow. Film crews lived in remote areas for months at a time, facing the same cold, isolation, and dangers as the people they filmed. During the pandemic, crews were reduced in size, and cast members filmed some scenes themselves. Litzinger consistently emphasized safety, stating clearly that no shot is worth risking injury. As the years passed, the series evolved by following the genuine personal growth of its participants and by offering a more accurate and respectful representation of Native Alaskan stories and customs. Each episode, typically about 44 minutes long, follows several individuals living in different regions of Alaska. Narrator James Franzel guides viewers through stories set in locations such as the Kavik River Camp, Nurvik, and the Yukon River. The storytelling moves between families and seasons, showing preparations for winter hunts, spring thaws, and daily survival. One segment might show Suakins repairing her camp after a bear attack, while another focuses on Chip and Agnes Hailstone teaching their children Inupiaq traditions during a caribou hunt. None of this is scripted. The footage captures both success and hardship, from securing food to breaking down during violent snowstorms. Tension often comes from weather or wildlife and is resolved through moments of quiet endurance rather than dramatic confrontation. The Hailstone family is one of the most recognizable families featured on the show. They live deep in the wild lands of Alaska, far removed from towns and nearby neighbors. Chip and Agnes Hailstone, the heads of the family, make their home along the Kobak River in Nurvik, a small settlement located nearly 20 miles north of the Arctic Circle. Together, they have 7 children, 5 daughters and 2 sons. Chip and Agnes are parents to Kutan, Tinmiake, Urtak, Carolyn, and Mary. Agnes also has two sons, Douglas and John, from a marriage before she met Chip. Their way of life is not based on regular jobs or fixed schedules. Instead of office work or steady wages, they rely on hunting, fishing, and trading to feed and support their household. The family depends entirely on what nature provides, exchanging goods when necessary and relying on their own abilities to survive in an environment where comfort is rare and effort is constant. Life in Alaska's harsh wilderness brings endless challenges. Dangerous wild animals share the land, and winters are long and bitterly cold. Temperatures often drop far below zero, sometimes reaching 50 or even 60 degrees below. Chip once described his life clearly on his X account, stating, "I hunt, fish, and gather to make a good, honest living." His idea of comfort food is unusual by modern standards. While many people think of bread or desserts, Chip considers fresh caribou meat to be true comfort. For him, it is more than food. It represents a way of life earned through physical effort and respect for the land. Chip Hailstone, whose full name is Edward Vivian Hailstone, was born on March 8th in Kalispell, Montana. At the age of 19, he moved to Nurvik, Alaska. In 1988, drawn to a life of hunting and survival, he learned fishing, hunting, and handicraft skills from his father, Daniel Franklin Hailstone. His brother Willie became a commercial fisherman. Agnes Hailstone was born around 1972 into an Inupiaq family, deeply rooted in Nurvik. Her family's connection to the land stretches back thousands of years. From her elders, she learned vital survival skills, including hunting, tanning animal hides, using fat for oil, and crafting traditional tools such as the ulu knife. Chip and Agnes met in Nurvik around 1990 and married in 1992. Their marriage has lasted more than 33 years, built on shared labor, mutual respect, and trust. Their 5 daughters, Cowton, Tinmiak, Urtok, Caroline, and Mary, grew up learning the Inupiaq way of life. Cowton became known for her creative work and careful, humane approach to hunting caribou. Tinmiak and Urtok were initially taught at home and later attended school, where they performed well in basketball and other sports. While over time, the family welcomed grandchildren, including Wade, born to Urtok in 2016, Agnes's sons, Douglas and John, though from her earlier marriage, are treated by Chip as his own and regularly join him in hunting and daily work. The Hailstones believe strongly in raising children with self-respect. They teach their daughters to value themselves and never accept less than they deserve in life. They also believe in sharing what they have with those who are unable to provide for themselves. Every day for the family revolves around survival. They hunt caribou, moose, bear, and walrus, gather seagull eggs, fish through frozen rivers, and trap smaller animals. They blend ancient Inupiaq customs with modern tools, using bows, rifles, and sometimes only their hands. When hunting becomes difficult, they rely on trade through local connections to stay prepared. Agnes often leads hunts and ensures that no part of an animal is wasted. Skins are used for clothing and equipment, while fats are rendered into oil. Chip sometimes prefers to hunt alone, explaining that solitude helps him think clearly, although he admits the work is simpler without cameras nearby. The family prepares meat, especially caribou, in advance, so it will last through the long winters. Their isolation brings constant danger. The tundra can reach temperatures of 31 degrees below zero or worse, making travel extremely risky. Snowmobiles can break down or crash in severe cold, and bears and wolves regularly move through their territory, requiring constant alertness. Despite these dangers, the Hailstones continue to live this way, adapting to change and teaching each new generation how to endure. Agnes carefully passes on her knowledge so her children and grandchildren understand the traditions that keep them alive. The Hailstone family appeared on Life Below Zero for 12 years, until 2024, sharing their lives with audiences around the world. The show received multiple Emmy Awards for its work. Looking back, Chip describes those years with respect, calling them a meaningful chapter of their lives, even though he believes it has now come to an end. Many cast members now receive payment for appearing on the show, meaning their lives are no longer as isolated or difficult as they once were. Still, Sue Aikens, Chip, Agnes, and others continue to appear on screen against Alaska's vast and quiet landscapes, even if those places are not as untouched as they seem. Sue Aikens, often viewed as the show's central figure, filed a lawsuit against the production company involving a producer named Aaron Melman. She claimed Melman pressured her into dangerous situations, such as removing her face mask and freezing Aaron driving a snowmobile across a frozen river after a snowmobile accident. Aikens, said Melman, refused to allow an immediate airlift by the safety team, choosing instead to transport her by ground to make the footage more dramatic. A cameraman stated that Melman threatened to fire anyone who tried to help her reach the plane. Because of the legal documents Aikens had signed, her case may be difficult to win. It was also alleged that Melman drank her whiskey during filming, which would mean she was intoxicated. Although Aikens is portrayed as living alone in a tent, her life is not as isolated as it appears. The Kavik River Camp is an active operation with many comforts, including internet, phones, and services similar to those in cities. Visitors can purchase souvenirs and clothing with the camp's branding. Staying there costs about $350 per night, and Aikens has earned a significant income from her fame. She accepts card payments, organizes tours, and guides visitors through the Arctic. While the show presents her as completely cut off, the camp remains open year-round. Nurvik, where the Hailstones live, has a population of around 600 people and is not entirely disconnected from modern life. The town is about 42 miles from Kotzebue, a larger city in northwest Alaska with more than 3,000 residents. While many people hunt and fish, others work for the local school system or city government, which operates its own school district. Chip and Agnes's daughter Irtuk played several sports in school, and local newspapers covered her and her sister, Mary. The community has sports teams and hosts tournaments. Irtuk mentioned that filming sometimes caused her to miss practice, though it was rarely a serious problem. Nurvik has no connecting roads, so travel is only possible by plane, boat, or snow machine. Without these, reaching the town is impossible. Wiseman, another location shown in the series, is also less isolated than it appears. Roads connect it to nearby cities, and supplies can be purchased just 13 miles away. Even Amazon delivers there. Some towns, including Wiseman, receive support from oil companies that own land in the area and provide funding. While residents do hunt, they also enjoy modern comforts such as satellite television and snowmobiles. Although there is no power grid, most households use generators or solar panels. Bears are not a constant danger for every resident, and filming only occurs in areas where food, water, and shelter are available. Feeding wild animals is illegal in Alaska, yet Sue Aikens has spoken openly about feeding foxes, calling them her pets. Photographs on the show's website show her with them, describing them as family. State authorities appeared unaware of this practice. The issue gained attention when Jim West, known from the Animal Planet show Wild West Guns, was charged by the state for a similar offense. His lawyer suggested the charges were influenced by competition between television networks, including National Geographic's Alaska State Troopers. The lawyer emphasized that others have faced penalties for feeding wildlife, while Aikens has not. Alaska is undeniably cold, but summers can reach the 60s, 70s, and occasionally even the 80s. Winters are not always as extreme as imagined. Anchorage is often warmer in winter than Chicago, and southeastern Alaska has a milder climate. Fairbanks, farther inland, can drop below zero and sometimes reach 30 degrees below, but the dry air makes the cold more tolerable. The temperature in Alaska can change sharply over very short distances, creating extreme differences from one area to another. Some regions receive more than 100 inches of snow each year, while Anchorage, surprisingly, gets about the same amount of snowfall as Burlington, Vermont. These contrasts help explain why life in Alaska is so unpredictable and demanding. Weather alone shapes how people live, travel, and survive. Even within the same state, public opinion about Chip Hailstone has long been divided. Some people do not support him and believe that he controls his wife, Agnes Hailstone, portraying her as dependent on him. Others feel that the television show exaggerates Agnes's hunting role, describing her as killing more animals than necessary. Viewers have also questioned whether the family truly needs to hunt at such a scale, especially considering their relatively strong financial standing due to the show. In addition, some locals remember that Chip was not the first white person to benefit from oil money paid to Native and Yup'ik communities, which added another layer of controversy to his public image. If someone is asked to close their eyes and imagine a man living deep in Alaska's wilderness, the image that often comes to mind is a large, bearded figure with arms like tree trunks, surviving through sheer, brute strength. This stereotype feels almost mythical. Chip Hailstone does not completely match that picture. While he is undeniably tough and resilient, the bald.com Alaskan hunter carries a gentler appearance, far removed from the rough lumberjack image many expect. His quiet manner and composed presence often surprise those who meet him for the first time. Many people were shocked when it became known that Chip served 15 months in prison beginning in 2017. Reports from Cinema Style stated that his charges included felony, perjury, and giving false testimony. Court records revealed that Chip had filed a temporary restraining order against Alaska State Trooper Christopher Bitts, claiming that the officer had mistreated and stalked his daughter. Chip insisted that he had spoken the truth and suggested that the audio tapes used as evidence in the case had been altered. Later, an audio expert confirmed that the recordings showed interruptions, but this finding was not strong enough to prove deliberate tampering. The case originated from an incident in July 2011 in Nurvik, Alaska, when Chip's family was involved in a confrontation with Trooper Christopher Bitts and another officer, Gordon Young. The troopers had responded to a call reporting a disturbance at the Hailstone home involving Chip's stepson, Jonathan Carter, and his daughter Tinmiak Hailstone. What began as a response to a domestic concern escalated outside the house. Chip and Agnes later stated that Bitts placed Tinmiak in a submission hold and reached for his gun during the argument. Until Trooper Young stepped in and removed Bitts' hands from her. 2 days after the incident, Chip filed for a temporary protective order, claiming assault and stalking. He provided sworn statements to support his claims. However, an investigation by the Alaska State Troopers concluded that there was no evidence of wrongdoing by Bitts. The officer denied all allegations, stating that he never aggressively approached the family or reached for his firearm. He explained that the Hailstones were upset at first, but eventually calmed down after he clarified the purpose of the visit. In 2012, Chip was formally charged with 2 counts of perjury and 2 counts of providing false information, intended to accuse another person of a crime. A trial held in Kotzebue in July 2016 found him guilty on all charges. In June 2017, Superior Court Judge Paul Roteman sentenced Chip to 15 months in prison, along with 3 years of probation, giving him credit for time already spent under house arrest. He served his sentence at the Anchorage Correctional Complex. Throughout the trial, Chip continued to maintain that his statements were truthful. He and his lawyer, Jay Havahanasian, argued that the audio recording from the trooper's vehicle had been tampered with. They pointed to an 11-second break in the audio, claiming it removed threats allegedly made by Bitts. The court rejected this argument, ruling that the evidence did not prove the recordings had been altered. Appeals to the Alaska Court of Appeals were unsuccessful, and the conviction remained in place. Through decisions issued as late as 2024, Chip completed his sentence and was released in early 2018 after serving about 10 months. Factoring in good behavior and prior house arrest, he returned to Nervik and later resumed appearing on Life Below Zero by its 10th season. Despite online claims suggesting his conviction had been overturned, court records confirmed that this was false. The misunderstanding spread through forum posts that confused the timeline of the case. After his release, Chip addressed the situation in interviews, stating that he had told the truth and that his sole intention had been to protect his family. He expressed relief at being home and able to live his life again. No further legal troubles followed, and he continued his routine as a subsistence hunter in Alaska. Trooper Christopher Bitts made no public comments beyond his courtroom testimony, in which he denied all allegations of assault or reaching for his weapon. Captain Barry Wilson, speaking on behalf of the department, stated that false claims like those made by Chip damaged public trust in law enforcement. Bitts continued working without any reported disciplinary action. This story highlights the hardship that can arise when deep family loyalty collides with the reach of the law in a remote part of Alaska. For many viewers, Chip's case remains a powerful reminder that personal conviction and legal justice do not always align. Despite its success, the cancellation was not entirely unexpected. With the rise of streaming services and increasing pressure to reduce costs, even strong programs became vulnerable. Joseph Litzinger, who led the series for more than a decade, explained that major shifts at Disney, the parent company of National Geographic, played a key role. In a June 2025 interview with Reality Blurred, he said the production team had long known their future was uncertain. National Geographic shifted its focus toward Disney+, prioritizing large scripted franchises such as Star Wars and Marvel that attracted global audiences. Reality-based programs, even popular ones like Life Below Zero, were affected by budget cuts. Filming in remote locations such as Kavik and Nervik was expensive, requiring heated tents, emergency plans, and large amounts of fuel. Over time, Litzinger explained, production costs continued to rise. The network also canceled related shows, including Life Below Zero, Next Generation, First Alaskans, and Port Protection Alaska, effectively removing the entire franchise from its schedule. The cast reacted with a mix of sadness and quiet acceptance. Chip Hailstone announced the news on social media in October 2024, confirming that the program had ended and that there would be no new contract. He thanked viewers for 12 years of support and reminded them of the show's 9 Emmy Awards. He described the experience as positive and noted that there was still a slight chance the program could return someday. His message reflected the steady endurance viewers had long associated with him. Sue Aikens, known for her strength and independence at Kavik River Camp, held on to hope. In an interview with Reality Blurred, the 63-year-old said she had not received official confirmation of a permanent cancellation and believed there was still room for revival. She said her hope was as big as the state of Texas and suggested that another network might pick it up. According to Aikens, the British Broadcasting Corporation, which owned the show's format, was exploring the possibility of a return. Others from the spin-offs shared their disappointment. Brittany Bristow from Next Generation wrote on Facebook that National Geographic had chosen to end all related shows, including hers, despite strong performance. Rico Duwald and Andy Bassett made no public statements, but sources close to production said the cast felt deeply connected to what the series represented. Litzinger described the cancellation as a loss for storytelling, explaining that these lives and landscapes no longer had a platform. By October, though BBC ownership of the rights left the door slightly open, Life Below Zero now exists as a completed work, remembered for showing what it truly looks like in an unforgiving land. Viewers continue to watch it on Disney+, recalling the people who proved that survival is not only about enduring the cold, but also about preserving the warmth within. The series leaves behind a powerful legacy. Running from 2013 to 2025, it spanned 23 seasons and 325 episodes. It reshaped reality television by avoiding artificial drama and focusing on real lives lived far from comfort. Bears wandered near doorsteps, storms erased the sky within minutes, and survival was never guaranteed. Litzinger described the show's legacy as one of authenticity, saying it made the Arctic itself a living character rather than a backdrop. Life Below Zero earned 19 Emmy nominations and 6 wins for its cinematography. Crews filmed long-distance shots and drone footage of caribou crossing frozen landscapes, often working in -40-degree temperatures where batteries froze and equipment had to be carried by hand. The series highlighted key figures such as Sue Aikens, who survived a bear attack in 2010 and rebuilt her camp alone, and the Hailstone family, who trapped, hunted, and traded walrus hides in Nurvik. The show also amplified indigenous voices. Agnes Hailstone shared in Yup'ik traditions such as tanning sinew, reminding viewers that nature ultimately decides everything. Financially, the series was a success, drawing between 1.5 and 2 million viewers per episode during peak seasons. Advertising revenue reached tens of millions annually, and a 2025 Parrot Analytics report showed demand more than 13 times higher than average television programs. Cast members like Chip and Agnes earned between $2,000 and $4,500 per episode, totaling roughly $100,000 per year. While this did not make them wealthy, it provided meaningful support for families living off the grid. The franchise generated an estimated $50 to $100 million over 12 years. Modest compared to Disney's massive earnings, but vital for National Geographic's documentary storytelling. The series also had cultural impacts. Interest in off-grid living increased, with searches for homesteading in Alaska rising by 40%. The show encouraged appreciation for wildlife and indigenous traditions, while also raising awareness of issues like melting permafrost. After filming ended, Sue Aikens began advocating for Arctic policy in Washington, using her experience to speak for the region. Despite its success, the story included loss. In 2021, Gary Milberger, from Port Protection, died in a cabin fire at age 64. His final episode aired after his death, becoming a quiet farewell. Sue Aikens called him family and said his presence was the heartbeat of the place. In that same year, another cast member, Litzy Botello, died after battling cancer. Agnes Hailstone wrote that Alaska takes, but it also gives legends. These moments reminded viewers that Life Below Zero was never just entertainment. It was about real lives, real risks, and real endings. Beyond ratings and fame, the series captured the truth that survival is as much about resilience, community, and memory as it is about enduring the cold.